Hey, Tony.
That's all that's here.
Jeez Louise.
That's not unusual.
Can Judy hear me?
No. You talk loud. Picked up on that mic.
Oh. Hi, Judy. She can't hear me. Okay.
Somebody say hi.
Yeah.
Yes, Michelle did.
Oh, hi.
God breathe through me. God feel through me. God see through me. God heal through me. God love through me. God speak through me. God move through me. God live through me. I am an instrument of willing vessel. God breathe through me. God feels through me. God sees through me. God heals through me. God loves through me. God speaks through me. God moves through me. God lives through me. I am an instrument of willing vessel. And so, with the sweetness of this moment, let us simply surrender to the power and the presence and the love of the One, that which moves in, through, and as our body temple, the very vibration that exists, knowing that in between all the cells of the body temple is this intelligence and this love, creating and recreating out of itself, creating and recreating perfection and love. Let us all simply dive into this one, allowing it to be the very authority and the power in our lives. Let us feel blessed and bless this time that we spend together today. Sensing the presence by any name and trusting that that presence expands our consciousness, moves our mind and our heart and our soul. And let us each feel more revealed than ever before in our lives. This is good and so very good. Thank God for tonight, for the musicians, for all who are here. God bless CSL Morristown for hosting this event. And let us just be available to good and greater good. And so it is.
So it is.
Hi. My name is Neil Pinkman, and welcome to the group known as All of Those Who Don't Have a House at the Shore Club. That's why you're all here, right? It's like everybody else went to their house at the shore.
Or we're not invited.
Yeah, right. They didn't invite us, right? But you all know it anyway, yeah, right? Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. We are an open and affirming science of mind community where the vibration of love lifts you, the wisdom of the ages inspires you, and the science of mind teaching empowers you. Thank you for that beautiful opening treatment.
Oh, you're welcome.
Sounds like you've done it before. I'd like to welcome any new people that are here. Anand is a new person showing up today, so glad to have him here today.
Yay.
All you people traveling back from South America, welcome back. So we have I'm going to do the July affirmation at this point. I pasted it in your chats, so please just look at it. For those of you that don't have a chat in front of you, please, you can repeat it after me, all right?
Sure.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, glorious life.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, glorious life.
I greet you and welcome you into my world.
I greet you and welcome you into my world.
I open my mind, my heart, and my soul
I open my mind, my heart, and my soul
as I make room for an extraordinary experience.
as I make room for an extraordinary experience.
Peace, love, and joy dance all around me,
Peace, love, and joy dance all around me,
each and every day.
each and every day.
Wherever I go, I engage joy.
Wherever I go, I engage joy.
And as I move through this beautiful world,
And as I move through this beautiful world,
I anticipate good around every turn.
I anticipate good around every turn.
Life comes to me as a truly extraordinary adventure.
Life comes to me as a truly extraordinary adventure.
And so it is.
And
so it is.
All right, there we go. I think we're back over to music now.
What's that? They're still not looking good.
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Thank you, thank you.
I think she's.
So we're gonna change up a little bit. I would like to know if there's somebody here, I'd like to give you an opportunity to share something, a recent blessing. Something that happened, something that worked, something that was just right, that happened in your life. Kind of very specifically, I would want to know that it's in relationship to your spiritual journey and what's going on. And I thought sharing some blessings would be a good thing. Not to put you on the spot, but I am. Anyone? Come on, Lonnie. I need you on the mic though, because I need it recorded and I want people at home to hear you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Alani.
My name is Lonnie. Thank you for reminding me. I just had a wonderful, wonderful time down in Bogota, Colombia, which I found out Pumpkin and her husband are from, a significant other, whatever it is. And I think it's wonderful. We have people visiting Colombia and going all over. I sent my son down there for 3 weeks, and then I went to meet him there for 6 days and just had the most wonderful time, one of the most wonderful times in my life. Plus, I had another friend down there and went to like 12 museums and just traveled all over. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Well,
Since we're on Columbia, we might as well. Do it.
Yeah. Medellin, yay.
So for me, we just were in Colombia as well. And we had the most amazing family gathering to celebrate my daughter Pedro's sweet 16th birthday. Many of you are connected on Facebook. You saw this amazing
it
event.
was beautiful.
Okay. And Colombia is so much in my heart. And the last day that we were there, we bought our permanent land that we'll be living on. And we start construction in October, so I am so blessed.
And I just came home from Colombia. But I do want to say, it was a sad event, but Neil and I just drove up from the shore. The mother of his daughters just passed away, and there was a repast, and we were just there for that purpose. But it wasn't an easy morning for me, and it wasn't easy. You know, I was the odd person out and the fourth wife, and so you can imagine some of the dynamics were a little bizarre. And yet it's interesting that when we do our work that we can walk in anywhere, hold our head high, be okay, be the presence of love, and just, you know, just be present. And so it's this teaching, you know, it's the teaching that allowed me to walk in there, and I met Neil's ex-sister-in-law, and we were having a great conversation, and you know, she asked me how I was doing. I'm like, okay, it's been interesting. It took the teaching for me to sit there. But I share this because the fact is it should always be okay. It should be normal to be okay, right? It should be normal to be able to visit in that way anywhere. And it's so good for us to normalize love and to normalize that an ex-family doesn't have to be a foreign to us. And so I just want to share that, and hopefully for any of you who might have a challenged relationship, that you don't have to keep it challenged, that you can find your way through the fog to be able to be okay in the presence of. So that's, you know, that's just what happened for us this afternoon. So come on down, Purple, and then Bill.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love and light to you and your family. I'm present to the blessing. This week at my job in JPAC, we just started a summer program.
Amber alert.
Yeah.
Amber alert.
Storms are coming.
It's Amber Alert.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
it's that same Amber Alert.
And so, a couple of weeks ago, Sean told me, welcome to
They're all
the
gonna go
family.
home.
Sean, Tamika's son.
Hold on one
One at a time. Everybody's just gonna go.
I know, I'm just waiting for him to stop it this way. She's not interrupted.
So a few weeks ago, Tamika and I connected newly, again. But no, well, this one is,
Renewed?
no, just starting anew.
Yeah, that's.
So Sean said to me, as he heard me refer to Tamika as a former partner with some students of mine, asked, who was that guy? And he said, former partner? Right, so he created this, was mostly on my mind to share and on my heart to share is, for the last 2 years, Sean has been waiting to join the program at NJ because now he had to be 9. And so this week, Sean and I have been in a shared creative community. It has been amazing to experience each other and teach each other. And Marcia is also a part of that community and will be teaching in 2 weeks. So I've been spending time with people I have multiple shared community with, and it's really, really a blessing. It's really amazing, and it's a different way to have me show up and listen because it's so personal. It's so personal, and it's really been beautiful and special, and a new purpose, So thank you.
And I love that conscious, when I hear stories about conscious people getting out to influence, right? I mean, that's just great to have conscious people impact the world in that way. That's just such a beautiful thing.
It certainly is. Hi. Okay, so about 2 weeks ago, a little bit more maybe, I had this left eye started to get blurry. And I thought it was just some mucus or something that might be there, and I thought it would clear out.
You can't move with this microphone. It's very sensitive.
Okay. So anyway, it persisted. So I thought, well, I better go to the ophthalmologist and get it checked out. And I was told that I had an occlusion that in the retina. And I thought, oh my God, it's like all of a sudden, when the fear comes up, it just wells up in you. And I thought, oh my God, am I going blind? What's going to happen? I'm like, So he said, well, I think you have to go to a retina specialist. And so I did. Unfortunately, he was in the same building. I just had to go upstairs, so it was pretty easy. And they had all the equipment, and they did this cross section like an MRI on your eye, and can see the retina. And he showed me how a vessel had burst in my retina. So he said, well, there's no cure for this. And then I thought, oh, damn, what am I going to do now? I mean, it was scary, because here it is, an eye, it's important to me, especially as an artist and like that, right? So it was really, anybody's eye is important to you, but it was very important. And I thought, wow, what's going to happen here? So he said, well, there's no cure, but we can treat it. And we have to put a needle in your eye. I know, I did the same thing, Simon. Oh my God. So put a few drops in there, numb my eye, and it was a non-event, truly. But what I realized is that if I didn't know what I know, if I wasn't self-aware, I could let that drive me up a wall and be living in a really deep state of fear. And I said to myself, wait a minute, am I the fear? Am I my eye? Am I my body? Am I all this stuff that I think I am? Hell no. No. And as soon as I started going there and shifted into I am, period, without the stories, it all kind of subsided. And right now, I'm going to say that my eye right now is about 90% of what it could be, what it was, right? And that's fine. If it stays that way, it stays that way. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Truth is, I think the biggest thing was to not let it or those thoughts overcome me and be in charge instead of me. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you get that. Because that's a pretty typical kind of thing. I don't mean the occlusion of the eye, but I mean, it is pretty easy to run into an experience that could tempt you to worship fear instead of worship faith. That's an easy thing. Those kind of things come at us all the time. And are you coming up to share? Were you? Was he?
No.
Oh, okay. No, maybe he was. I'm like, okay. But that's what we, in raising our self-awareness and in raising our consciousness, we get to do. And so is there anyone else before I move on?
I'll share.
Oh, please.
Just Bill reminded me. A couple of weeks ago, I haven't been feeling well. And so I went to the doctor's office. And after examining me, the doctor looks at me and goes, "Neil, I believe you're experiencing heart failure." He then followed that up with, "But it hasn't stopped." I said, "Man, you must have aced every test in medical school to come up with that diagnosis." He says, "You need to see a cardiologist right away, and we need to start doing tests on you." And in following with what you're saying, he looks at me after giving me this news and he goes, "Are you really as calm about this as you appear to be?" And I said, "No, I'm not calm. I'm excited." He goes, "What?" I said, "Listen, there's two possible outcomes, and I have no fear whatsoever." And this is the beautiful part of this teaching. I said, one, first outcome is I die. I can't wait to see what comes next. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. I'm ready. I've had a full life. This is great. You know, my faith has me in a place that I know only good will come of that. Or two, you fix me. And I feel better, live better, and have a joyous life and live for a long time. And he goes, "Never heard anybody say that before." I go, "So I have absolutely no fear." And he couldn't believe that I was taking this news without any fear. So I made him feel better. I said, "But I do have one fear." He goes, "What's that?" I said, "Can you come home and tell this to my wife? Because she does not want to hear this from me." So, but I did. I went home and I told her. So do me a favor. I wouldn't mind your prayers for my health. They're still trying to figure it out. But so far, so good. Anyway, keeping the teaching. It just makes you live without any fear.
Yeah.
It's been a sobering few weeks. I can tell you that. Anyone else want to share before I move on? Okay. So I want to read to you, basically it's a chapter, but it's a single page. And it comes out of the Creative Mind and Success book by Ernest Holmes. And Amy was with me in that class.
Are you starting your talk?
Did I skip a song?
If you're starting your talk, yes.
Sorry, my fault.
Oh. I went over my foot. Me? No, I never miss a song. Okay. Do over.
First time we've ever done this.
God is the only power in my life. Look how my life has taken, 'cause I got it right. I'm living a life of gratitude, so that's changed my attitude. God is the only power. God is the only power. God is the only power in love and gratitude are alive. God is the only power in my life. Look how my life has changed and I got it right. I'm living a life of gratitude. It's love that changed my attitude. God is the only power. God is the only power. God is the only power in my life. God is the only power. God is the only power. God is the only power in Now I'm starting my talk.
You may want to use the mic stand.
Huh?
You may want to use the mic stand if it's going
Yeah, I
to make
don't.
noise.
I know why you're saying that, but I'm gonna do my best to not make any noise. So Creative Wine and Success is one of Ernest Holmes' earliest books. It is a wonderful book packed with, like, hit you between the eyes truth, okay? If you have not read it, I strongly encourage you to get a copy of this book. Get the classic, or if you want, I've chosen to read the gender neutral version. I just like that sometimes. And not the best edited book I've ever read, which is saying something if I notice that, but it's still a very good book. So what this is about, now normally, and if you've been around me for more than 5 minutes, you know that mostly my focus has always been about going deep, cleaning this stuff up, cleaning it up, right? Like that's who I am, right? But the fact is that once we've done a lot of that work, it really is time then to take what we know, apply it, and to drive it. Is there anyone here that either has a business that you would like to increase, or just want increase in the sense of abundance or success in your life in some area? It's not a tricky question. I really mean that. Okay. I mean, because you could say, oh, yeah, no, I'm retired. I don't care. I'm done. Right. But you're not saying that. Most of your hands went up. You got to get this book, because he's not playing. He's just not playing around. He's telling us how to get our mind, sharpen it, focus it, get it on the end result, and to drive it. And what I love in this book is that he's not telling us you have to just be. That's great. Being is great. There's always that, are you a human being or a human doing? There's that thing all the time. But even if you're being, you're doing something, because you're doing being. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but that's the truth. But if we want activity, and Ernest Holmes says this, if you want growth, there has to be activity. You have to do something to move the energy and move things around in order to activate growth and expansion. Now, so I was saying to you before, I was so rudely interrupted before. Just kidding. This is like an entire chapter, so it's a single page. There's not many words to his chapters in the old book. It's not like the textbook. It's much more reader friendly. So I'm going to read this to you because I want you to listen with your whole being. This is from his chapter on money as a spiritual idea. Many people think that money must be evil, although I have never as yet met anyone who did not want a lot of this evil in their lives. If everything is an expression of life, then money is also an expression of life, and as such must be good. Without a certain amount of money in the world, we would have a hard time. But how do we acquire wealth? Money doesn't make itself. So not being self-creative, it must be an effect. Behind money must be the same cause that projects it. You catching this? Okay? Remember, everything is either cause or effect. And effect can't create effect. Is that clear? You guys get that?
Yep.
Effect does not create effect. What creates effect is cause. What creates effect is consciousness. That's why when we teach spiritual mind treatment, we teach at the very first two steps are recognition, which is to name the experience of the one and on your behalf, and then unification. And at that point, you are aligning with the one and you are stepping into your expression of cause. So that when you do that and you get your self-importance out of the way and it's not an ego thing, you begin to speak in terms of creating. Get that? Like, is that clear? Yes, I hope so. Okay. Give me something. Let me know. I want to make sure because I'm laying down a foundation here. But how do we acquire wealth? Money does, that cause is never seen because no cause is ever seen. No cause is ever seen. It lives in, back in the old days, they would have, it's ethereal. It lives in the world of that which we can't touch, and yet all around us is this quantum experience of cause that when we align with it and when we are in right relationship with it, we can activate it and guide it to create. As long as we know it's not the me, but it's the I am of me. Right? Okay? Behind money must be the same cause that projects it. That cause is never, consciousness is cause. I love that he says that right here. I feel like I could beat a drum all day long and say nothing more than you have to grow your consciousness. You have to grow your consciousness. You have to grow your consciousness. Now, how? Okay, that's a little bit more difficult. That comes out of prayer. That comes out of meditation. That comes out of spiritual practice. And yes, in that also is if you have anger, doubt, and fear in the way, you got to figure out how to get anger, fear, and doubt out of the way. Now, I think I have a handle on that, but I don't know what that is for you. You might do it differently. So when we clear the stuff out of the way, we can be more in greater relationship with that cause. When we expand consciousness, everything can shift. If you expand consciousness enough, I do want to expand now. So right now what happens is that something happens in life. You have a desire to have something new, or you have a desire to fix something. Neil's health condition, Bill's eye. So it's either we're trying to repair something or we're trying to gather something new. That's the basic two categories. There's more, but there's that. So what happens is if we don't develop a relationship with cause through consciousness, then what happens is we have to regularly stop and go and apply to the details of life. But if we raise consciousness, we walk in that consciousness. We live by that consciousness. We speak from that consciousness, and the consciousness itself, as we develop it, and it is in the relationship with the one, we can start to see how good happens for us on our behalf. So even though you might think to yourself, well, why did that happen to Bill? Or why did that happen to Neil? But the fact is, in another body, for either one of those, in another body, that could have been disastrous. For Bill, that could have been absolutely disastrous. He could have experienced so much fear and tightened so much and run around in a state of panic that would have increased in a negative way or impacted in a negative way what's going on with his eye. The same thing with Neil. If he was not in relationship with cause through consciousness, he would be entertaining fear instead of faith. You with me on this? So we raise consciousness, and then consciousness becomes like an umbrella that covers us wherever we go, that walks into a room before we walk into a room. Oh, ooh, how nice that is. Whose thing is that? Ooh. When you fuss with these as often as I do, the nice ones are good.
Mike stand envy.
Yes, I am having my stand. So the point is, and I'll go back to a minister who was here a long time ago, one of the early ministers here. His name was Reverend Dr. Tom Johnson. And Tom, and I remember seeing him as an arrogant young metaphysician and practitioner. He was here for a talk, and he said, well, we learn to treat so we don't have to treat. And I remember thinking, oh, what BS that is. But then as I got more mature, I realized the reason why we learn to treat is because we expand consciousness. We develop an ongoing, expanding relationship with the divine, and then it covers us. It walks in the room before us. It becomes who we are, so that good finds us. Good walks in the door. Opportunities find us. You with me? If we don't do that, and instead we lean on ego, and we lean on, oh, I'll make this happen, then what would happen is we would be driving things and pushing things and rearranging things all the time, but it'll feel forced, it'll feel worked. It won't feel like you're in right relationship with this power that is just waiting for you to use it. It is truly waiting for you to use it. That's the truth. I'm going to go on here. Consciousness is cause, and people who have a money consciousness have the outward expression of it. People who don't have this mental likeness won't. Now, replace the money with something else. If it's not specifically money that you're looking for, just insert whatever you think. We need to acquire but he is speaking about money and the beauty of money, and that it should be okay to talk about money. And we got to stop having money be a dirty word. Anybody, like everybody kind of recall sometimes, or recoil, is that the word? Recoil, thank you. Recoil sometimes. And you see people recoil like, oh, all you think about is money. Not for nothing. I've had money, I've not had money. I'd rather have money. Anybody else rather have money? Right? So everybody would not want money. I think we all, right? And why not have that if it's simply an expression, an ongoing or an extended expression of spirit as you? You get that? It's just another facet of spirit. And the more, when you have it, it's easier for you to be generous. Every time I get a check in the mail, the very first thing I do is I pull out my phone, I go to my texting, I put in text, because I call it text, that's how I labeled it in my phone, and I give 10% of what I've earned on the spot. It drives Jessa crazy because it might be a $12 thing, a $60 thing. But the point is, I keep the flow flowing. I keep the flow flowing. We need to acquire a money consciousness. This may seem very material, but the true idea of money is not material. It is spiritual. It is spiritual. We need to make our unity with it. We can never do this when we keep it away from us thinking that we do not have it. We change the method and begin to make our unity with supply by declaring that all the power in the universe is daily bringing to us all that we can use. We feel the presence of supply and know that it is ours now. Give thanks for perfect supply each day. Feel that it is yours, that you have entered into the full possession of it now. And he says, now bear with this, because you might think you're gonna refuse to talk about poverty or limitation. That almost sounds a little harsh, right? But Wallace Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich said the same thing. Napoleon Hill said the same thing. Anybody who has taught success says the same thing. We cannot ponder limitation and expect to experience expansion. Whenever, I'm shortening this, whenever you see anything or anybody whom you think has more than you, immediately affirm that you have the same thing. So for all of us in the club, if we don't have a house down the shore, we get to bless those who do. Because the more we bless it, we align with it. The more we align with people, his sister-in-law that I met today, she is Disney's #1 travel agent in the world. And I met her today and shook her hand and with a lot of enthusiasm, congratulating her for being an amazing woman entrepreneur. And she turned to me and she said, yep. She said, I sold $1 billion, booked $1 billion of business with Disney. Get that? $1 billion with a B. She has money consciousness all over the place. And she just said, yep, it's all about manifestation. It's all about manifestation. I'm like, man, cool. So, really, yes, take a bite of it. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna get to another page for you. Oh, God, okay. Every once in a while in the books, I write something and when it really hits me, I write, holy moly. That's what I wrote on this paragraph. We must resolutely set our faces to the rising consciousness of truth. Seeing only the one power, we must destroy the adversary and leave the field to God or good. All that is in any way negative must be wiped off the slate, and we must daily come to the higher thought to be washed clean of the dust and chaos of the objective life. In the silence of the soul's communion with the great source of all being, into the stillness of the absolute, into the secret place of the Most High, behind the din and ceaseless roar of life, we will find a resting place and a place of real spiritual power. Speak in this inner silence and say, I am one with Almighty. I am one with all life, with all power, with all presence. I am, I am, I am. So, Ernest Holmes is saying to us, actually, let me say something else. When we have a desired outcome, a goal, and we're moving in the direction of that goal through our prayers, our treatments, through creating a blueprint. What else? A wish board. What else is it called?
Vision board.
A vision board. So we create these things, we create the visual, and we're moving in that direction. Only when you feel a pullback is it necessary to turn inside and do the healing work. If you have done enough of your own work, you keep moving in that direction, and you'll know when, oops, something is not letting me go further. Oops, there's doubt in the way. And then, I forget what teacher it was. I don't remember what teacher it was. When you're moving in this direction and you feel this this hitch, you treat the doubt. You dissolve the doubt, or you dissolve the fear, or you dissolve the hesitation, or you dissolve the I'm not enoughness. Those are lies. If you're still allowing yourself to entertain them, we have to learn not to entertain them. They're lies. They are the unconscious collective that we have gathered from the, from the planetary hypnosis. This is why we must wake up. Does that make sense? Increasing consciousness is necessary. Increasing self-awareness. Increasing self-love. The combination of these three things are the only thing that is necessary along this journey to land you to the life you want to live. Self-love. I mean, there are versions of that too. So it could be self-love, self-acceptance, raising your self-esteem, all of that could be true. But self-love, to be more conscious, and to, what was the third one I said? Awareness, thank you. And raising your self-awareness. Because in raising your self-awareness, what will happen is that when you're in a room, and if you're negatively impacted by someone in the room, or by a feeling that came, or someone said something, or someone looked at you in some way, if you think it's about you, you diminish you. You cannot diminish you and expect more. You got to do better, if you don't already, in the language that comes out of your mouth. The more as the years go on, the more I learn, the more I go back to the simple things. You and I cannot afford to practice self-criticism and self-judgment and think that we're going to get to that goal. It has got to be self-love. It has got to be self-acceptance. It has got to be where we are fully aware of our self-worth. You understand that? The other stuff, especially the judgment, folks, it cuts you off from cause. If you are judging yourself, you're cutting yourself off from cause. And Ernest Holmes says, it's almost, I barely, for about a nanosecond, took ballet lessons a gazillion years ago, but I will never forget the lesson in doing turns about having a focal point. I'll never forget that. And that you had to have that focal point, and that's what you would turn to keep you sturdy and keep you from not getting dizzy and not falling over. And so if we get that focal point, then we have to get there and raise your sight up. Look up, because then we look above the problem and we look above the limitation. It almost sometimes feels like a lie. It might feel like a lie to not look at what the struggle is. It might seem that way, but it's actually you expertly applying law. Get that? It is you expertly using law. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any questions? Since we have such an intimate group tonight.
Could you repeat it one more time?
The last thing, what I'm saying to you is that you get a focal point, which means your heart's desire, the desired outcome by any name. And then what happens is you raise your sight up. You kind of, there's a physiological thing to it, but I don't know the science behind it, so I can't tell you. I just know that it's there. And when we raise our sight up, we are caused to look toward possibility. And we have to keep our sight on possibility. So right now in my home, if you walked in my home right now, every corner of every room in my house is a disaster because of the construction. Now it's a disaster, it's a purposeful disaster. It's not like I'm a complete slob and have never cleaned, but it's the construction and it's all these things that are going on. And it has been a spiritual practice to walk in there and not have that cause my experience. Now, I got to be honest with you, I lost it for a few days. I lost it for a few days where it was bigger than me for a little bit of time. And then what happened is I was coaching somebody who was going through a major change in her life, a big move. And as I'm coaching her and I'm saying, yeah, you want to look at it like an adventure. I went, okay, self. And on the spot, I shifted. I'm like, okay, it's an adventure. I just got to relax. Now, I know in a short time, relatively speaking, short time, I'm going to forget it. I'll have good stories to tell, but I'm going to forget about it. I'm just going to enjoy it. But I have to every day not look at the chaos and the boxes and the drop cloths and the paint and the wires and the unfinished this and the unfinished that, simply so I could be in a good mood and we can have conversations. Just to, go past that. So if you have something actively right now that you think is real, you need to raise your sight above it and see past it and not give it any power at all. Yes? Okay. Let's treat. So what I know right now is that there is an activity of mind and heart that's happening right here in this room. This activity is calling for us each to be more. And I declare on behalf of each and every one of us that more or expansion or more expressed or more loving or healthier or happier or more fun or more joy is our reality. It is our reality. I declare that anything that's in the way gets out of the way. I declare that any doubt or fear that has run us for any moment is right now neutralized. It is neutralized. It has no power here. I stand in cause. And I declare that I'm ready, willing, and able to accept my good, my greater good. I'm ready and willing and able to accept my good and my greater good from places known and not known, from expected to unexpected. I open my arms and I simply say, yes, I am worthy. And as I declare that, the space is made open and good happens. It is a good and beautiful thing. It is holy, it is sacred. It happens now, it happens with ease and grace. It is truly a beautiful thing. So I surrender this word to love, and to the awe of life, calling it good and so very good. Please join me in saying,
And so it is. All right. Powerful message. I know I will never exceed my own opinion of myself.
Yes, that's
What I
right.
got out of that. So,
That's right.
God, I love me.
Me too, yeah.
And speaking of money,
Done.
one of the things that we have been working on for the past year is to bring us back together in person. We have, and I guess, can I announce new leadership?
Oh, please.
Yeah, would anybody who's in a new leadership position on our leadership council please stand up? Okay.
Yay!
Purple is co-chairing
Okay.
our leadership council with Edna
Oh,
Daly.
wow.
So
Yep.
those two are going to step up. And,
Be in charge of the
Antonia-
world.
What's that?
They're gonna be in charge of the world.
Going to be in charge of the world.
Awesome.
And so it
But,
is.
And Tony and Frank are probably loading up the truck right now to head out of
Soon.
Dallas and down to
Yeah.
Mexico. So she needed a break from being a chair, and she did a great job. And Antonia, if you're listening, thank you. You did a wonderful job. We appreciate it. And we are working with a consultant. We are working on bringing this organization back together, and we're working really hard. But one thing it's going to do, as you can see here, we've been really lucky that our friends here in Morristown have let us use this facility at a very, very reasonable cost, for sure. We only have 2 more times here, and unfortunately, this time there is no quiz, so you can't cheat and win the prize again. I don't know what the next day is in August.
But you don't want me to yell it out?
Well, yeah, could you yell it out?
August 6th.
August 6th, okay, August 6th, we will be back here live. Same thing on August 8th and September 10th. Those are the last 2 times we can use this facility. We need to find a new facility. We need to find a new place, hopefully back over closer to where we come from in that area of West Orange or Caldwell or somewhere over there. Livingston, somewhere. So we have a few things we're gonna look into. But it's gonna require us to need more financing in order to do that, meet on a regular basis and bring this back to where it is. So please, now I'm a little afraid to say this because last week I said, please, when you come next week, bring a friend. Apparently, none of you have friends, which I feel really badly about. But I must have jinxed it because last time we had like 3 times this number of people here. So we're going to do the same thing since we don't have this on our monitor because we're online. But we're going to do the conscious giving affirmation. And believe me, we are all very grateful, everybody's time, talents, treasures that are given to support this community. It's a wonderful community. So please replete. I am replete with ideas. But please repeat after me. I bless this gift that I give today.
I bless this gift that I give today.
I give this gift from my heart and I give it mindfully.
I give this gift from my heart and I give it mindfully.
May my gift go further to heal, prosper, and bless this center.
May my gift go further to heal, prosper, and bless this center.
And all who enter.
And all who enter.
I accept all good that comes as a result of this flow,
I accept all good that comes as a result of this flow.
knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
Knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And I know you're all wondering, what the heck is going on at our center? I can feel the energy bubbling over. This is exciting for me. We have Barbara Gilfillan, who is a new practitioner with our center, although she's not that new.
No, she's not a new practitioner. She's just new with us.
Yeah, a new practitioner at our center.
Right.
So, and she has a class that's coming up you can get into called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. This is actually a CSL certified class, and you can get certification credits for it if you'd like when you take the class. It's 5 weeks. It's Saturday mornings. The heck else you doing on a Saturday morning? This is a great time to spend learning how to change your thinking and change your life. And Barbara is really, really good. Sunday nights, Mary Carney is still doing the book review, the book discussion group, and it's Emmett Fox, The Sermon on the Mount, which is fantastic. So it says she's doing that for 8 weeks. I don't know how far she's into it, but you can certainly, the newsletter came out yesterday, I believe. And all the links are there to sign up for those. Remember, we're not gathering Sunday morning. This will be available on YouTube tomorrow morning for anybody out there who wants to listen to this and hear that wonderful message that was here today. We will be having Psalm Sunday, 9 o'clock Sunday morning. Same link as you always have for Psalm Sunday. Tune in, and that will be happening as usual. But that's it. You're free to go to the beach for the rest of the day, whatever you want to do. And
Down the shore.
down the shore
You're from Jersey.
with your
Yeah,
tail
down the
ham
shore.
and pork roll. Okay, thank you very much. That's it.
Thanks, Neil.
Anyone else?
What are we doing? Getting up?
Move it. She wants you to move.
Moving on up.
All right, we'll start the song.
That looks like a baby.
We're gonna open the door for the kids.
You wanna be happy for the rest of your life. Praise God every day with all of want to tell you that downstairs there is pizza and some salad, and I want to thank Lonnie Sobel for feeding us tonight, so that's his gift.
Thank you,
There's
Lonnie.
gonna be way more food than there are people, so plan on bringing home a pizza. Thank you all.